What's going on, everybody? It's Stephanitis TV checking back in with you. Right now, we about to have a little part two on the Pooh, Shiesty and Gucci Man situation. We got different artists that's out here responding to the situation because Gucci Man allegedly snitched, to the feds and got a whole court case going out against Pooh Shiesty. But the streets is like, how can Gucci be sitting here snitching? It's Gucci Man, and you working with the feds, creating whole court cases against people, and you supposed to be this whole street legend. So now it's like these two rappers are responding to it. Woody and Rollo sitting back because the people try to say that they were snitches, and there's no paperwork on them snitching. But now that y'all got paperwork on certain people snitching, it's like, all right, so which direction are y'all gonna go with this? Because these not allegations. This is paperwork. It's paperwork out here on Gucci Man now. So now you got the streets looking at Gucci Man crazy, and his whole legacy going back and forth because Gucci was supposed to be this big street legend that was robbing the drug dealers growing up. So now it make Gucci Man seem like he ain't who he say he was, or they say he switched up, and all this other stuff. But we just gonna leave it at that. But right here we got Rollo on the right and we got Woody to the left. These are two Atlanta guys that grew up here, stamped themselves here in Atlanta. I ain't gonna say on anything too good because there ain't really nothing good they really were doing till Rollo switched up. Now he helping the city. He always was helping, but he was always destroying it at the same time. So it was a hand in hand thing. But these two guys right here about to speak on the situation and give you their mindset on what's going on.
The Gucci, I used to get like $7,500 a month in my account from Empire, right?
Let me say that too, though. Like, this was his first artist right here, so he definitely got something to say about this. When Gucci was the real Gucci, I don't know what's going on now, but whoever this guy is,
that was back in my day, 7,200. I remember getting them checks. And keep in mind, y'all, this is my first legitimate money. This is my first legit. I can go. I feel so comfortable with this money that I went and bought my first Lamborghini with the first legitimate money that I got. Gucci had gave me $150,000. I fucked around and ran up like $200,000 legitimately out of just doing music and shows and shit. So when I got my first $400,000 legitimately, I went and bought me a Lamborghini. You smell me? So like as time.
What kind of Lamborghini you bought?
Aventador Roadster.
And you bought that with the check that you made from Gucci?
Yeah. I bought that from the check I made from Gucci. Right? So.
And that's the big Lambo. That ain't the little one that's made by Audi with the doors that come out regular. That's with the V10. Audi makes those. He had the one that's actually made by Lamborghini, that big boy, that big boy that costs something. Well, I have technical difficulties. That might not be from mine. That's from them. The hell? Oh, bro, my bad, y'all. I did that by mistake.
Man, I finally found a way
my bad.
To get out of this shit someday. The check's starting to get larger and larger. I'm starting to get show money. Like, they give me some money on the front end. I'm getting cash on the back end. So I'm like, shit, I get the best of both worlds. I get some money on the front end, front of promoters, and the back end, I can go buy me some more dope with. So I'm like, shit, I can run this shit up like this. So now, when they telling me I ain't getting these checks no more because I'm signed with 10 something, I walk the Gucci. But after the wedding, I let him get married and shit because I ain't want to, run that before the wedding.
Right.
And I was like, man, look, man, this is what's going on and this is what happened, and I ain't getting as much money as I was getting in my account.
Okay,
Before I
they
signed
couldn't.
too.
They
And he was like,
couldn't.
well, all you gotta do. And he told me what I owed, how much I had spent. And he like, them folk want their money back. And this, they spent this on your lawyer. They spent this. So I knew I had to get their money. So I got my money. I ran my money up.
Basically, what he's saying, what he got in, when an artist sign, you get upfront money, and if you don't manage that upfront money, you're not gonna realize like that money is a part of the big pot, right? You got a big pot, and they're dispersing you a little bit so soup out your own pot. So when you first get started, they give you your biggest bowl out the pot. Tell like a few. I think they get quarterly checks, basically like four checks. From the major labels, they get 4 checks a month. So it's like they're just like spoon feeding you, and on the in between, that's when your shows come in and you get the show money and all that other stuff. But if you don't manage that right on the in between, well, you're gonna be broke, and you might not. You definitely not gonna see what you think you were gonna be seeing in the end, because you've been sitting there at the end of that pot. When the pot done, you trying to see what the leftovers are, what you're gonna be saving for later, and you see that it's already at the bottom because shoot, they've been feeding you the whole time. Little in between snacks, basically.
And I paid my way out the contract. You smell me? So it was never on no tight time like here. Like even in the paperwork that we read, the things that they saying about Gucci went to the meeting with Pooh Shiesty with intent to work out the contract. And when I say about working out the contract, obviously it was a number or something that he wanted from Pooh Shiesty in order to, release him from the contract. But obviously that number must have had to offend Pooh Shiesty. You get what I'm saying? So I think Pooh like, since you made my money, you made all this money on me, goddamn, nigga, you made a trillion times more than what you signed me for or whatnot, and I don't feel like I gotta give you whatever he was asking for, whatever Gucci was asking for. So it was a company.
Yes, people, you have to pay to get out your contracts, and this happened to Offset too with QC. You know what I'm saying? P got paid to let Offset out and still try and get money off of him on the back end too. So that's a different story. We can make a video about that later.
Conversation, like it's always been a conversation.
But
I know for a fact.
But they saying so from.
So that video right there is explaining the viewpoint on the contract deal, on how Gucci be handling people when it comes to the deals and stuff. It's certain things you gotta do, and certain things you gotta move a certain way when it comes to handling your deals. Because if, like they said, if you don't read right, you'll sit there and assign yourself away and can't even get out of it for real. Can't get out of it at all, and been sat there and went down the drain. So. I already found it right here. So the next part of this I wanted to bring up is the fact that Young Jeezy has been brought into this situation also. Just due to the fact that a long time ago, Young Jeezy and Gucci Mane had a beef situation that people was killed. They was going at it for a long time, and the beef was really real, and they was actually friends at one point. They had the same producer, Shawty Red. This dude was one of the hottest engineers, producers when Gucci Mane and Young Jeezy was dropping all those crazy tracks. They had the same producer. They've had a fallout that went way too far. But Jeezy didn't snitch. He didn't work with the feds. he didn't do none of the stuff that Gucci Man allegedly has been doing. So they brought him into this because they're like, man, how can you be sitting here working with feds when you had your own situation and nobody snitched on you? So this right here is the video on that.
Jeezy said it, or at least that's what the streets are saying. One comment dropped on the internet that said, and I quote, Jeezy would never, he would stand his ground. And the moment those words hit the timeline after Gucci Mane got kidnapped and robbed at gunpoint in a Dallas recording studio, the whole culture stopped breathing for a second. Because whether Jeezy said it or not, whether that was a fan writing for him or the man himself, those words hit differently when you understand the history. When you know what went down between these two Atlanta legends going back 20 years, that statement isn't just shade. That's a reminder. That's a callback. That's somebody pointing at a wound that never fully healed. And today, we're ripping that bandage all the way off. Because this ain't just about Pooh Shiesty forcing Gucci Mane to sign contract papers at gunpoint. This ain't just about Big 30 blocking the studio door while a man nearly got choked to death in Dallas. This is about Gucci Mane, the same man who built a legacy off surviving robberies, getting caught slipping by his own artist. And the moment it happened, one name came flying out of everybody's mouth like muscle memory. Jeezy. Y'all need to hear this. Because when you connect...
That is wild now. But you disrespecting these people on another level, man. You holding what they say in the street, holding nuts on folks, man. That's crazy.
Connect the dots. The 2005 robbery, the murder charge, the diss tracks, the Verzoos, and now this. You realize this story has been building for 20 years, and it just hit a brand new chapter. Let's get into it. To understand why the internet immediately dragged Jeezy's name into the 2026 Dallas situation, we need to go back to where this all started. We're talking early 2000s Atlanta. The trap music era was being born in...
Early 2000s, all that trap music destroyed the youth. I'm talking about everybody wanted to ride on Chevys with 24s, and this man had a Can't Ban the Snowman t-shirt. I'm talking about that shirt. If you was wearing that, you were getting charges, bro. And you was in high school, big giant t-shirt with a snowman on it. You can't even wear the snowman shirt. That movement was so crazy. Legendary movement. Crazy work. If he came back and dropped that t-shirt again, man, I'm talking about that junk will go wild. But he's in the real estate and changed his lifestyle, so.
Real time. And two men were at the center of it. Radrick Davis, known as Gucci Mane, and Jay Jenkins, known as Young Jeezy. These two weren't always enemies. Fam, these two were actually cool at one point. Jeezy approached Gucci about a collaboration, and the record they made together was called Icy. Gucci was the newcomer.
So I say,
bigger buzz at that point. Signed to Def Jam with a debut album on the way, Let's Get It, Thug Motivation 101. Jeezy's whole vision was that Icy would be the lead single on that album. He treated it like their joint record. He believed they had an understanding. However, Gucci Mane took Icy, that same record, and used it as the lead single for his debut album, Trap House, his independent album, released on Big Cat Records. And if that wasn't enough, Jeezy says he never saw a check for it, not $1. No cap, fam. The man recorded a song, expected it to launch his major label debut, and watched it get used to launch somebody else's career instead. That's not just a music industry dispute.
that's backdoor. That's messed up. So from the beginning, Gucci always been doing, that's his history. They always said Gucci been on some weird stuff like that, doing people wrong. I mean, really, he was the robber, so he robbed them for the song. It's ironic, right?
In the streets, that's disrespect. That's violation. Furthermore, Jeezy responded the way Jeezy responds, not with lawyers, with words that had weight. On his track, Stay Strapped, Jeezy dropped a line that wasn't subliminal at all. He basically put a bounty on Gucci's chain. He offered 10 stacks to anyone who could snatch that chain off Gucci's neck if they caught him in their city. Read that back. A bounty on a chain. That's not beef. That's a green light. Gucci heard it. And Gucci fired back with round one, to literally titled Round One, because he knew this was going to be a long war. Moreover, the foundation was now set. The disrespect was mutual.
Long war.
Public. Two of Atlanta's biggest rising stars had turned a music dispute into something that looked like it was heading...
Y'all see that shirt that Jeezy got on? that jersey, that snowman, that right there was legendary. If you from Atlanta, you ain't even got to be from Atlanta. Everybody knew about Camp Ban the Snowman. And that right there, go back and listen to Young Jeezy's first mixtapes, going crazy.
Somewhere nobody wanted to go, and unfortunately, it did. Now this is where the story stops being about rap beef and starts being about real-life consequences. Pay attention, because this part matters. May 2005. Gucci Mane is at a woman's home. Some reports say a stripper's home, just chilling, and 4 men break in. They don't come to talk, they come to rob him. They start assaulting him, putting hands on him in this woman's house. Yet Gucci didn't fold. He grabbed his pistol and started shooting. One of those men, a man named Henry Lee Clark III.
They missed a big key factor in that situation. They had this man tied up. He was tied up and somehow got out being tied up and had a shootout with the guys. Then this happened. He was tied up. You got to put that into account. That's wild.
Who went by the name Pookie Lock was hit, and Pookie Lock died from those injuries. His body was later found buried behind Columbia Middle School in Decatur, Georgia. Now here's the part that set the culture on fire. Pookie Lock wasn't a random man off the street. He was a signed artist on Jeezy's label, Corporate Thugs Entertainment, CTE, one of Jeezy's own affiliates. And the streets immediately started asking questions. Did Jeezy send those men? Was the robbery connected to the Stay Strapped bounty? Was this retaliation for the Icy situation? Gucci Mane turned himself in to DeKalb County Police on May 19, 2005, days before his debut album was dropping. He posted bond on the same...
But they missing so much about what happened. So Gucci Mane was the one that buried the body behind Columbia Middle School. He buried the body, went to New York, and did a show at Jay-Z's 4040 Club. How I know? It was on the mixtape.
Day Trap House released. And from jail, he made a phone call. He said, and these are his words, "I just want to let everyone know I'm not a murderer. I was upset. I was scared a little bit, but I had to do what I had to do. You got to be a man about it. I'm not a bad person. I have remorse for everything that happened." On the other hand, Jeezy came out and said Gucci was trying to turn a bad situation into publicity to sell his record. He denied any connection to the robbery, denied having anything to do with Pookie Lock going to that house. Now, the murder charges against Gucci were eventually dropped. Insufficient evidence. An eyewitness corroborated Gucci's self-defense claim. He walked, but the cloud from that night never fully cleared. Because you can drop charges, you cannot drop history. And both of these men knew it. Here's the thing about Gucci and Jeezy's beef that separates it from almost every other rap beef in history. It never fully died. It just went cold for stretches, then flared back up. Over and over again for 15 years, Gucci spent periods in prison. He caught multiple charges: drug possession, assault, probation violations. By 2014, he was sentenced on federal firearms charges and didn't get out until 2016. Still, even behind bars, the beef didn't disappear. It lived in the music. Every few years, Gucci would drop a line or Jeezy would gesture toward it, and the whole Atlanta streets would get reminded that this thing was still unresolved. And then came 2020, Versus. If you don't know what Versus is, Swizz Beatz and...
Versus. That was wild. Y'all gotta go back and search the verses. Like they said, the beef was never settled. It was just like they tried to sweep it under the rug, but for some reason they chose these two to do the verses because they knew they had existing beef. I'm talking about the whole time Gucci Mane shooting at Jeezy, taking personal shots. Man, it was wild. But at the end of the day, they said Jeezy won it though.
Timbaland built this platform during the pandemic where legends would go hit for hit with their catalogs. And somehow, they convinced Gucci Mane and Jeezy to do it. Live, in the same room, in Atlanta. The culture lost its mind. Fam, people genuinely didn't know if both of them were going to show up. They didn't know if something was going to pop off backstage. These men had not been in the same room peacefully in years. This wasn't just entertainment. This was like two countries agreeing to a peace summit that nobody trusted. And it showed. Gucci came out swinging. First song he played, a brand new Jeezy diss track. He wasn't there to perform the classics first, he was there to establish dominance. Not only that, at one point during the event, Gucci played The Truth, a diss where he literally raps about Jeezy's dead friend, Pooh. He looked Jeezy dead in the face and played that record in front of millions of people watching online. Jeezy's reaction? He stood up, went to whisper to his manager. The tension was visible. Yet instead of matching the aggression, Jeezy tried to steer toward reconciliation. He reached out verbally, tried to address it man to man. Gucci told him they agreed to keep it G, and proceeded to keep doing Gucci. Later that night, they actually performed Icy together on stage. The crowd went insane. People cried. It felt like a moment. And for a second, it looked like maybe this 2-decade war was finally over.
No.
But here's what people keep forgetting. A Verzu's performance doesn't erase a murder charge. A performance doesn't erase a bounty being put on your chain. Two men can perform together and still carry everything that happened between them.
I'm gonna say the only reason why they enjoyed doing that song so much because that was their first hit song. So that brought back like the beginning of their careers. Other than that, well, no.
Reconciliation on a stage and reconciliation in real life are two very different things. That said, when Gucci got robbed in Dallas in January 2026, Jeezy's name came up within hours. Not because anyone had proof Jeezy was involved, but because the muscle memory of that history is so deep, so embedded in Atlanta
Nobody
rap culture
forgot
that
any of
anytime
that.
Gucci Mane gets caught in a violent situation, people's minds automatically go back to May 2005. And that's not nothing. That's 20 years of unresolved energy still vibrating. All right, fam, let's break down the 2026 robbery the way it actually went down, because the details of this one are wild and you need the full picture. January 10th, 2026. Gucci Mane flies into Dallas, Texas. He's got...
And mind you, Pooh Shiesty just got out of prison. This was not long at all. He did this right after getting out.
As head of security with him and two other music industry professionals. The meeting was set up by Pooh Shiesty, one of the artists signed to Gucci's 1017 Records label since 2021. Pooh had only been out of federal prison since October 2025. He served 3 years on a gun charge out of Miami. Gucci Mane actually celebrated his release publicly, posted about it, welcomed him home, and that's important. Because what happened next is as cold-blooded a betrayal as you'll find in this industry. The meeting was supposed to be about Pooh's recording contract. He was unhappy with his deal. He wanted out. Now, the normal route for that, lawyers, negotiations, a buyout, whatever, that's the business way. Sure.
That's what I was thinking. Why wouldn't you be smart about it? You got some paper. You're in a position to grow. Everybody like your music. Be smart about it. He could have did this and made himself a bigger brand, bigger marketing. I heard other people saying that he should have made his own Pooh Shiesty mask. They named the ski mask Pooh Shiesty. He could have had his own ski mask. That would have went crazy. Shoot, he still need to try to do it before he gone to get some money up. But he gone forever. He gonna need money on them books.
Shortly afterward, though, it became clear that Pooh Shiesty apparently decided he wasn't going the business route. The studio was opened at around 3:15 p.m. 8 co-conspirators, and let me repeat that, 8 additional people traveled from Memphis to Dallas specifically for this. This was coordinated, this was planned. Moreover, at approximately 3:40 p.m., all 9 of them entered the building and made their way to the control room where Gucci and his people were watching a football game. Gucci, apparently sensing something was off, told Pooh Shiesty they could reschedule the studio session. However, Pooh Shiesty asked to speak with him privately in the recording room.
That's the part that people don't know about. You know, when you a street dude, you can sense and you can tell by the energy and by the silence in the room speaks the loudest. Pooh Shiesty probably showed up, was the only one. They said he was the only one that really came in first because his dad was trying to supposedly book a studio session to get everybody else in. Who knows?
Gucci went in. Inside that room were Pooh Shiesty, his father Lontrell Williams Sr., and rapper Big 30, whose real name is Rodney Wright. And that's when it popped off. Pooh Shiesty pulled out contract termination paperwork and told Gucci to sign. Gucci refused. Nevertheless, Pooh Shiesty then reached into a bag and pulled out what prosecutors describe as a black AK-style pistol, pointed it directly at Gucci Mane and demanded he sign. Gucci signed, yet they still didn't let him leave. Meanwhile, while this was happening in the recording room, the others...
It should have been over right there. You came in, you drew down on him. That would have been a charge. Because depending on what state you're in, you can't even draw down on nobody. Which is you showing up with your pistol and pulling it out on somebody, that's a charge. That's drawing down. Definitely if they don't have no gun and they're in a situation where you're the aggressor, that's a charge. He probably gonna sit, could have got a lawyer to pay that off a little bit, sat some time for that, it would have been over with. Should have left it at that. But you see, pushing it too far gonna get you, but playing stupid games get you stupid results.
6 suspects outside were pulling guns on the remaining victims. One man had his wallet and jewelry snatched. Another, and this part is brutal, was choked from behind to the point of near unconsciousness. Prosecutors say at one point the victims genuinely believed they were going to be executed. Beyond that, they stole Gucci's wedding ring, his watch, his earrings, his cash. They filmed him on camera signing the papers and verbally releasing Pooh Shiesty from the contract. Pooh's dad reportedly looked at the paperwork and said it needed a date, so they forced Gucci to go back and add a date next to his signature. At approximately 4:48 p.m., the suspects left. The whole thing took barely over an hour.
That's what we gotta find. We gotta find the footage, and that's what's out there in the streets. And you know what I'm saying, that's probably not gonna be online. You know, I'll probably show up after Pooh Shiesty already in jail.
But here's where these guys fumbled the bag worse than any rapper in recent memory. In the hours that followed, multiple suspects were on social media showing off the stolen goods, posting Rolex watches,
like normal,
flashing jewelry. One of them went live wearing a chain prosecutors say was taken from the robbery. They left a digital trail so obvious that federal investigators basically had a gift-wrapped case handed to them. Additionally, Pooh Shiesty's ankle monitor, the one from his home confinement conditions, placed him at the scene. License plate readers tracked their cars from Memphis to Dallas. Furthermore, fingerprints on red plastic cups inside the studio tied multiple suspects to the location. As the investigation continued, the evidence kept stacking up in ways that made this case practically airtight before it even reached a courtroom. 8 of the 9 were arrested on April 1st, 2026. The 9th, Terrence Rogers, was picked up by FBI Atlanta shortly afterward. Every single one of them is now facing federal kidnapping charges. Each defendant faces a maximum sentence of up to life in federal prison. Now,
you have to understand what happened. State charges, federal charges. We know state charges are a little different because federal charges, boy, you're done. State charges, you're done too. But federal charges, you got to sit all your time. You know, you go fed, it ain't no in between. It ain't no 2 for 1, all that stuff. Then you heard what he said. It ranges from 0 to life. Zero to life. Wow.
Now here's where people started connecting the dots in real time. The moment the DOJ announced those charges on April 2nd, 2026, the hip-hop internet went into full investigative mode. And within minutes, Jeezy's name was already in the comments. Not because of anything Jeezy did in 2026, but because of everything that happened in 2005. Shortly afterward, 50 Cent was one of the first major names to speak on it publicly, posting about the situation and directly referencing the Pookie Lock shooting from 20 years ago. The G-Unit general basically reminded everybody that Gucci has been in situations like this before, and that Atlanta keeps doing Atlanta things. Moreover, Rick Ross came through with actual nuance, which honestly surprised people. Ross said he didn't like it for either side, that Gucci didn't deserve what happened, but that Pooh Shiesty needed to understand you handle business disputes in the business world, not with AKs. That's actually a real point. Meanwhile, Waka Flocka Flame, one of Gucci's closest former associates, made it clear he wasn't celebrating what happened to Gucci, even acknowledging that he and Gucci weren't on the best terms. Flocka said he had nothing to do with the situation and wasn't going to entertain anyone trying to drag him into the drama. Rollo kept it simple and kept it solid. He defended Gucci when a lot of people were either silent or using it for content. And in the comment sections, across Hip Hop DX, Twitter, Instagram, one phrase kept popping up organically: Jeezy would never. Whether it was fans paying homage to Jeezy's street credibility, people drawing comparisons between the 2005 robbery attempt and the 2026 situation, or just people poking at the old wound, the Jeezy connection was unavoidable. And Jeezy himself? Radio silence. Not a word, not a post, not a like, nothing. Which, depending on how you read it, says everything. Here's the real tea that most people are dancing around but not saying directly. Gucci Mane built his entire mythology, in part, on surviving a robbery in 2005 and shooting his way out of it. That incident, as tragic as it was, became the foundation of his street credibility for the next 20 years. He carried Pookie Lock in his lyrics like a badge. He referenced it in interviews. He taunted Jeezy with it.
Right. So you sitting here using that situation to boost your cred, that when the situation actually happened to you, you go a whole different direction. But we also have to understand that the security that was involved in this video, they didn't state that the security that was there was ex-police. You robbed an off-duty officer? Come on, man. That's who really pressing these crazy charges. You robbed an off-duty policeman in Texas. What? Come on now. The big star?
Bearzoos on live television in front of millions of people. It was the moment that cemented him as someone who wasn't to be played with. And then in January 2026, his own artist robbed him at gunpoint in a studio with 9 men, and Gucci signed the papers. Now let's be clear. I'm not here to criticize Gucci for surviving. When a man has an AK pointed at him and 8 people around him, signing papers is the right call. That's not weakness. That's
This is what you do. You see this? Y'all don't see this. It's small, right? This is my pen. Here you go. You are out of here. Bye.
survival. That's intelligence. The Gucci of 2026 is a married man, a father, someone who has publicly emphasized sobriety and stability. He's not the same person who made the decision he made in 2005 in that woman's house. However, the culture doesn't always allow for evolution, and that's the tension at the heart of this whole story. Jeezy's name came up because hip-hop has a memory problem, or maybe a memory gift, depending on how you look at it. The culture remembers everything. It stores receipts like a hard drive that never gets wiped. So when Gucci Mane is in a violent situation involving a recording contract dispute, and somebody posts Jeezy would never, what they're really saying is, 20 years later, the narrative about who's solid and who's not is still being written. Beyond that, there's another layer here that can't be ignored. The Pooh Shiesty situation exposes something about the music industry that goes way beyond Atlanta beef. This is what happens when artists feel trapped in exploitative contracts. When young rappers sign deals they don't understand and then feel like there's no legal recourse. Now, robbing someone at gunpoint is never the answer, and Pooh Shiesty is looking at life in federal prison for making that choice. Nevertheless, the underlying frustration that leads a man to that decision, that's a conversation the whole industry needs to have. Gucci Mane helped launch Pooh Shiesty's career. He signed him when Memphis was buzzing. He celebrated his release from prison, and allegedly, somewhere in that relationship, things broke down badly enough that Pooh felt his only option was 9 men and an AK. How does that happen? What went on behind the scenes in that label relationship that nobody's talking about publicly yet? Additionally, there's this. Gucci Mane has stayed silent. No press release, no Instagram live breakdown, no clap back, just silence. Which is unusual for a man who has never been shy about speaking his mind, who played a Pookie Lock diss at Verzoos while staring his former rival in the eyes. The silence says this one hit different. This one wasn't rap beef. This one was personal. This one happened in real life, not in a studio on a track. In contrast, Jeezy, who built 20 years of reputation as someone who stands his ground, who never folds.
I mean, Gucci Mane is embarrassed. I mean, what you gonna say? It just happened. There's not too much for you to say. The whole world going against everything that you built at this point. Your character. He don't even care. I'm pretty sure this man is just. It's in the back of his head. But he just probably more just happy he with his family.
The streets do the talking. His silence in 2026 is equally loud because he doesn't need to say anything. The history speaks for itself. The comparison was always going to be made. The moment Gucci got robbed, the internet's muscle memory did what it always does. It went back to 2005. That's the real legacy of this beat. It's not just Gucci versus Jeezy. It's not just 1017 versus CTE. It's a 20-year story about what happens when money, pride, and loyalty get tangled together in a city where the stakes are always real. Furthermore, here's what I want you to sit with before you go. The most dangerous thing in hip-hop isn't a diss track. It's not a versus battle. It's not even a feud that lasts 15 years. The most dangerous thing is when someone who built their image around being untouchable gets touched, right? Because that doesn't just affect one person's reputation. It ripples through an entire culture's understanding of who's real and who's performance. Gucci survived. The legal system is doing its job. 9 defendants, federal charges, potential life sentences. Justice in the traditional sense may be served, but in the court of culture, that trial is still going, and Jeezy's silence is louder than any testimony.
And he's like, who cares at this point?
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it.
It's all bad.
44.
Moving the goalpost for RD. But after today,
You know we gotta watch the Charleston White. We gotta add this in too because you know Charleston White is definitely gonna break it down on how how people about to sit here and how they need to look at it or should look at it. And you know he's gonna be funny with it, so.
hey, for what the feds released, they give daddy a bond, $250,000 bond. Strict home condition. The judge still went through with the indictments they with the charges because they go get him on try to get him on relevant conduct. But they ain't gonna be able to get him. That boy went and got one of the baddest.
We got Charleston White reacting to the feds saying that they have little
Relevant charges.
evidence on Pooh, Shiesty, and Big 30. Hit that like button. Let's see what Charleston White got to say.
Say, I know I just see that man on the street preaching. Man, say, man, what's wrong with you? Man, the Lord ain't called him to do that. And one Lord, say, I wonder what Gucci thinking about today. I wonder what Gucci thinking. Cause you know right now he can't get paid. He can't get paid for the stream Pooh Shiesty get. Cause they made it say they forced him to release, so he got to go back. Now I wonder, say this. I wonder what everybody thinking right now. I wonder, you say this. Pooh Shiesty mug shot. Let me know he with the shit. That's the new John Gotti. John Gotti walked it all the way to the death. The rest of these ones say, let me out the car. Don't let me out the car. See, the rest of you niggas is trade. The rest of you is trade on boys in the hood. Nigga, y'all ain't got out the car. Y'all ain't no dough boys. Y'all ain't no Jeep. Boom. You trade. You ain't got out the car.
Hey, this is a movie. This is a movie reference.
See, even God respect like Pooh Shiesty. I remember when I was a little bitty boy, they used to talk to God talk and say God don't like the lukewarm. God wants you hot and cold. He don't want you in the middle. The Bible say he like he spit you out. He spit you out. That's what it say. So God ain't spit Pooh Shiesty out. And who do God take special care of? Food, babies, and elders. Yeah.
I had to laugh at that because man, you'll be like, damn, how does damn fool get so many chances? You'd be like, bro, they should have been locked this person up. They keep doing the same stuff over and over, making no changes. It's like, bro, at this point, what are you doing? Then babies, babies are innocent. They have an innocence about them, so you know, you give them chances. Elders, they been here, they did their part, and you got to take care of them. That was a valid point.
Y'all seem like y'all got some sense now. Now y'all don't want to be fooled. That's why I play the fool. Man. God take good care of me playing the fool. And he gonna take good care of Pooh Shiesty. Guess what the feds came out and say? I ain't never heard the feds come out and say, hey y'all. I ain't never heard them say that. In all my years of being a lawman, I ain't never heard us come out and say, not the feds, no way. I ain't never heard us come out and say, hey y'all. We ain't got no hard evidence on the boy. The only reason we got the boy because he on probation, on this federal probation, and he been thumbing his nose at us. Thumbing his yeah. Other than that, we ain't got no evidence on the boy. Don't y'all know if goddamn Latrell, boy, what that baby beat this? If that baby beat this, him and 30 come out, and 30 about to lose some weight. Cause he like he went in there hungry. He like 30 look like a fat homemade man. Say, have I missed dinner yet? Can I get a sandwich? If they'll get a boy a sandwich if you're hungry. Hope he'll talk and say something. But yeah, now, I got my money on Shiesty.
What he's saying is nobody talking. He hungry because he not trying to talk for a favor. You know what I'm saying? They said, but he about to be starving because nobody gonna talk. That's what he's saying.
Put my money on Shiesty. I go back in like 6-9, 90 days, and he back out hollering second day out on the field. I'm betting on Shiesty. Now on the back end, I'm betting Gucci win with the, because he ain't gonna be able to keep him on the contract anymore. Yeah, come on over here. There's no way Gucci can recruit from you. As a matter of fact, it's a whole bunch of seats over here for you used to be. The has been y'all jersey like Rollo a has been. He can go in the Hall of Fame. Used to be something that you got a scarlet and mark on your name. I'm gonna usher you to your seat. Come on. When I'm gonna usher you to your seat, Gucci.
He's Gucci done.
Gucci cooperating.
Oh yeah, he over with.
His name in there. They almost got him in there like a confidential informant. Normally they have a CI, but they got Gucci in there as RD. So we ain't calling him Gucci no more. That's RD, y'all.
Right, they got that man confidential. Dang.
RD done went there and told the boys. RD told them people the clothing that Lynn Trail was wearing, Junior was wearing, Junior boy was wearing. Lynn Trail did it. That's what he told him. He described Lynn Trail. RD is a rock. No. And boy, listen. Say listen. RD wrong, y'all. RD was supposed to keep his preaching according to Lil Baby. When Lil Baby and Thug and caught Offset outside of Magic City and made the boy strip, he put it in the song. Turn the boy into a male stripper. He was talking about Offset. Kids, they'll keep it in the street. So they gonna keep it in the street. They kept it so street.
That's real. Caught him outside the club. Quavo ran. Offset had the strip, and Takeoff got jumped. Cause Takeoff really was the one that take off on. He popped it off when they were growing up. He was the fighter out the group. That's why he got Takeoff. Offset, he was the one that was gambling, and he had the money that he had to pay, and he wasn't trying to pay up, and Quavo took off.
Big Pooh Shiesty went to Office Max.
He went to Staples, bro.
The contract where they put the gun to Gucci's head and made Gucci sign the contract, that contract comes from Office Max. Now No, man, they made RD sign an office man contract with Big Shiesty and shit. It's like getting a fake check stub when you going to go get an apartment. You say, can you call and print me up a fake check stub? They done went to Office Max and printed up the contract and made the boy sign, or made RD sign the contract from the Office Max. That's how the Fed got the footage. Say this, man, them Feds so bad, they'll catch you walking out the door and rewind tape. And rewind on tape and have you stopping everywhere. Just rewind and shit. But listen, all I'm saying is
They hit you with the stop and go. They show you on the movies, bro. They'll get you in every flick of the toot, and they'll get every angle, and they'll sit there. And now it's new, it's digital, so you know you over with.
man, RD, y'all moving the goalpost for RD. But after today, for what the Feds released, they give Daddy a bond, $250,000 bond. Strict home condition. The judge still went through with the indictment statement with the charges, because they go get him on, try to get him on relevant conduct. But they ain't gonna be able to get him. That boy went and got one of the baddest white boy Jew lawyers in Dallas, Texas. You think Brian Steele something? Brian Steele beat a bunch of black folks. That's just easy for a white boy to do with a white woman judge who he had already gave some money to on a campaign thing. So it's easy to come here and beat these. And they ain't got their shit together because they wasn't working in conjunction with the police department. So it's easy for the white boy with a few niggas on his team, some jurors, to beat him. Okay? This northern district, this federal northern district down here in Texas with Judge McBride and all this different kind of, no, they got judges down here in the 80s.
But it's over with. Boy, them folks ain't going for none of that pay.
From the 50s. No. This gonna be a different ball game. But then here's on the flip side. It's a good old boy system down in Texas.
Good old boy.
Good old boy system down here in Texas.
Good boy.
Now the Fed don't want no money. They want your ass or some information. Three of them ain't gonna have no laws. They don't get them a little laws, but then go, yeah. Back to what I was saying. That lawyer better than Johnny Cochran. He's white. Why you say that, huh? He ain't never lost. Brian Steele got to see this man he's never lost an appeal. And he's never lost to say he's bad. He's bad. I don't think I want this dude locked up. No. Gotta change your heart. I don't want him to get very locked up. These some of the bravest young think this is.
I'm gonna let him finish.
Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale already doing. I think these two look like Tukey Williams and Raymond Washington when they started the West Side Crip. These look, they done took down RD. And you know how hard it was? And then the Feds came out and said, hey, then Trail and 30 didn't have no gun. 30 ain't took no gun. So I think the most they gonna get 30 on is some probation violation. He gone maybe a year or so. I'm betting on 30. Gucci Mane, I think Atlanta go down there, y'all. Atlanta had their time to shine. Atlanta should have kept the player.
Hey, man. When you look at it from this point of view, Gucci Mane always been doing his artists wrong anyway. I'm not on nobody's side, but you know, like you said, these folks brave. That was brave what they did, nah. So you can't do nothing but tip your hat to that.
They went gangster game. Wow, they've been down here ever since. Ever since Atlanta started putting tight britches on and tattoos on the front of their thighs and things like little baby them and wearing them crop top shirts and ever since they tight, Atlanta been going down here rapidly. Not bullshit. Rollo tried to save him with the Muslim look, with the Taliban, with the Pakistan look. Rollo tried to save him. They coming back. They coming back to get back Rollo. Then here come Lil Baby and Thug. Put Rollo then out the way and put back on the miniskirt. And boy, it seems like it's been a curse on the line. Until y'all come out there miniskirts and told Mister, and Mister like this stuff every shit.
This dude's stupid, bro.
So listen, God damn it, boy, listen. Pooh Shiesty now have solidified itself.
He wild. He said, "Come out the mini skirts." Hey man, them folks that be doing all that, they not from Atlanta. That's outside people moving to Atlanta, and that's what's going on, bro. Folks from Atlanta, bro, we ain't with that, bro. You gotta remember, the big clothes, big shirts, you know, so we from the South. We ain't doing that. I mean, some of them are, but hey, the majority of them folks ain't from here. That's that migration, that new migration.
That gonna be a court. He gonna be bigger than TV Jakes.
This dude is stupid.
What's that other man who everybody, the white boy? The Ferg you all were two of them, man. I think of it. He dead, man. I can't think of his name. Yeah. But that boy gonna be something. He done took down Gucci right before our eyes. And then the feds come back on the spin roll and say, "Hey, y'all, you ain't got none on the board." What? Oh, I'm rooting for the underdog. Lock their ass up. Forgive him a second chance. FBI. Spank him on their little old wrist. Hit him on his... Don't put him in the guillotine, please. Boy, he ain't no better. Them folks from Memphis fucked up. I'm not there. Boy, daddy went with it, so... Get daddy. Get his ass. He ain't had no good to lead the charge. Or none of that. Nah, I'm just lying. Don't get daddy. This was a basic misunderstanding.
He's stupid. He said them folks in Memphis crazy. Buddy, daddy went with him, led the charge, paid for everything. Oh man.
Yeah. And this is great for American society. These gangster rap times over with. It's over with. Pooh Shiesty gonna be the long lost gangster. And he going back to jail after this too. I'm saying he ain't gonna stay out. He's going back to jail after this too. And shit, you boys on the ride of gangsterism. And we ain't seen nothing like this since Pablo Escobar.
Right. Hey man.
So man, y'all heard it right here, man. Charles the White said he gotta change of heart.
I ain't gonna lie.
Special YN. Ain't nobody like him. Nobody.
Boosie paid for folks.
Man, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let me know y'all thoughts and opinions on this, man.
That's real. Y'all saw what everybody had to say. That's a crazy response to what's going on, because the culture has definitely changed and people's eyes have definitely been opened up to what's going on. And it makes you look at one of the most gangsters artists in a whole different light now. Getting robbed by your own artist by gunpoint. Man, don't look too good for you, for the culture on that aspect. But I appreciate everybody watching this with me. Stephanitis TV, we out. Peace.